All right, now that I've finished up the Tales from the Crypt television series, of course, I want to knock out the 3 films that they made. Well, technically 4. There was one before the series, but I already did that in my Amicus reviews. So now we are going to talk about Demon Knight. Thank you to Stephen Arthur for buying me this Scream Factory release. He sent it to me in a video. That was so awesome of him. As always, he's the guy who does my theme music for my videos. So thank you, Stephen, as always. Now, I will say that I think this is in the top 5, 10. I'd have to really go through the list to make sure. But I would put this off the top of my head in the top 5 horror films of the 90s. Like, I adore this film. And this is a film that I watched a lot in the 90s. Like, a lot. This is one of those films that I just kind of had going on repeat. I don't know how many times I saw it, but I saw it a lot. Now, I haven't seen it in a while. Like, many years now. So rewatching it, I was really curious on how not only would it hold up, but how much I would remember, because it had been probably over a decade since I saw it. Well, I rewatched it, obviously, and A, it holds up fantastically, as expected, and B, I remembered every single line, every single frame, every single everything. So my memory of this film is perfect. I saw it so many times. It just has become, so in there, I didn't think I was going to forget anything. As far as this release goes, the transfer is pretty good. Nothing where I was blown away and was like, oh my God, look how clear the picture is. It looked like it was made yesterday. I didn't have that feel at all. There weren't any moments like that where I thought it looked fantastic. So I don't know, maybe Scream Factory, this is the best they could do with it. I didn't think it looked bad, but I didn't see it look all that much different than DVD, to be completely honest. Maybe a little better, but nothing that was like, holy shit, this is incredible. This is Rock and Roll Week over in Killer Flicks, and I have to say that this kind of fits that theme a little bit, because this, along with The Crow and a few other movies, has a fantastic soundtrack, and a lot of it is, rock-inspired, heavy metal, whatnot. We get this incredible opening song by Filter, which I just was a big fan of that song and a couple other songs of theirs in the 90s. The Hey Man, Nice Shot song to start this off is awesome. We get some Pantera, we get some, there's a lot of good rock and roll and heavy metal songs in this. So I just thought it kind of fit the theme a little bit. Maybe I'm just saying that because I'm slacking on getting to these rock and roll themed movies this week when I said I was going to, but I'm trying, man. Shit. I only have 2 more of these to do, but the week's over in 2 days. Shit. Oh well. I'll still watch some anyways, whether it's the week or not. Being able to see this on the big screen would have been cool, just to see the iconic Tales from the Crypt opening on a big screen, and then the outro as well when it's leaving the Crypt Keeper's mansion. I don't know, just seeing that on the big screen would have been badass, but unfortunately I did not see this movie in theaters. Not to my memory anyways. I don't think I did. No, I didn't. But I did watch it a hell of a lot on VHS back in the 90s. I personally think that this is William Sadler and Billy Zane's best film. They've definitely had, I think that The Shawshank Redemption is the best movie that William Sadler's ever been in. But for him personally, and I love his performance in Shawshank, but he's not in it enough. But this is my favorite performance of him, and I'm a big William Sadler fan, and I love that they made him the lead in this, because he is the main character in the very first episode of Tales from the Crypt. So it's kind of like a seniority thing. It's like, you were with us from the beginning, and we're doing our first movie, and we're going to put you in here. Billy Zane is also in a Tales from the Crypt episode. I don't know if this movie came out before or after. I want to say this movie came out, yeah, after. I want to say this was towards the tail end of the show's run, because I want to say this is like 95, something like that, 95 or 96, and Tales from the Crypt ended in like 96, 95. So, yeah, this was at the very tail end. I have not seen Bordello of Blood since it came out. One time. I've only seen it once. So that's one I'm extremely curious to revisit, because I didn't like it at all. And hey, man, that movie was geared towards me. It was a bordella. It had tons of naked hot chicks in it, as far as I remember. So I was the target audience, and I remember being like, what is this shit? So, and I like Ritual. I only saw that recently, in the last couple years, with Jennifer Grey. I thought it was a pretty cool movie, so I'm definitely looking forward to rewatching that as well. But let's stick to this movie. So as I said, yeah, we get this awesome opening of the collector, as he's known in the credits. We don't ever hear his actual name or his demon name or whatever. Billy Zane's character chasing Breaker, which I can't remember. Shit, he has a real name, but that's the name he's taken on. But we get that cool opening, and then he goes off and he finds his way to the hotel after trying to steal this car. And I remember as a kid not being able to tell if that little kid who exposes him as the thief was a boy or a girl. They do say it's a boy many times throughout the film, but that looks like a girl. I'm sorry. And it's not just the long hair, I don't know. There's some moments where he doesn't, or where he does look like a boy, but for the most part, I always thought it was like one of those Hanson things, where the lead singer of Hanson, where you were just like, oh, there's like two brothers and a sister that have this band, and people are like, no, they're all three brothers, and you're like, I don't understand, because the lead singer is a girl, right? Same kind of feel like that. Also, rewatching this, I mean, I've seen it so many times that you forget that like there's a mystery, like. There's so many times where I watch movies that I've seen like 1,000 times, and you don't realize there's a mystery anymore, because it's been so long since you've watched a first viewing of it. But I forget, and I was, watching it more now with a critical eye, I realized that you don't, like, it's obvious, but because, as I said, I've seen it so many times, I don't even think about that kind of stuff anymore. But on this rewatch, I was just noticing that, like, in the opening here, you don't know who's bad and who's good. Like, up until the collector, Billy Zane, reveals himself to be the bad guy when he punches through the cop's head. You can guess that William Sadler or Breaker is the hero here, but you're unsure. You're really unsure up until that moment. So when I was rewatching, I was like, oh yeah, like, I don't know who's who here. So I thought that was interesting to watch it through that new lens now. And we also have Wally, who's being played by the dude who does the voice of Roger Rabbit. I always point that out. But any video I've ever pointed out where I see that guy, I always mention that this is what I remember him from, so seeing him here. We also have Thomas Hayden Church, who's went on and had all sorts of success, playing Roach. We have the actress CCH Pounder. How do you say that woman's first name? Do you just say it like it's an acronym, like CCH, or is it K? I've always wondered what the hell. I've seen her in so many things over the years. I guess I could just do a YouTube search of an interview with her and they'd say her name. But CCH, there's no way to pronounce that. So, yeah, anyway. Oh man, I like that scene where Billy Zane goes to the diner with the cops, and you can just see it's just super quick. But there's the guy who owns the diner's wife, who's super hot, is like trying to flirt with Billy Zane, and he's just not acknowledging her at all. It's so quick. It's a blink and you miss it moment. I just thought it was funny because it's showing that he's this suave, debonair kind of guy who gets the attention from all the ladies, and that's just part of his powers in a way. Like, he has those powers of manipulation and attraction, and he can use, like, he's down there with all the tools. He's handsome, he's charming, he's, and I just like little subtle moments like that where you can see the power that he has outside of his physical power. The scene where Bob breaks in on Roach and Cordelia, and he's got the car batteries hooked up to his nipples. Turn it off, my nipples are smoking. Oh man, Roach is just such a piece of shit in this. His character, my good God. Bob is just that typical goof police officer character, but he has redemption at the end. And as going back to that demonic charm that the collector Billy Zane possesses in this movie, I think that also is kind of explored a little bit here in how much the cops just seem to trust him at face value without looking into his story, that they go and they arrest Breaker and that they're not interrogating him at all, and that they believe he's some antiquities freaking bodyguard or bounty hunter. and they go and they are going to give him back his property without even looking into his story until he gets that call on the horn saying that both cars were stolen. It maybe breaks him out of his trance, but they seem to be buying into whatever this guy's selling without really checking into his story. So that could be bad writing, but I think that is more just a testament to how he's able to manipulate people through his charm. And yeah, just that scene. I mean, the practicals in this movie and the gore and all that is on point. He punches through his head and he slams him to the ground. He rips his head off, and CCH vomits, spits, blows chunks literally at the screen. That's just such a disgusting, awesome scene. Something I was noticing on this video, and I don't know if I've noticed it in the past, it's been a while since I've seen it obviously, but that scene, and there's lots of scenes in this where he does this kind of performance, but especially for me, when he's thrown outside and he's like, humans, you're not worth the flesh you're printed on, or whatever, and he does that you fucking hoe down, po dunk, mo damn motherfuckers. That scene to me, it's very, very Beetlejuice. Anybody get that vibe? That scene when Beetlejuice is down there and he's doing he's like the cowboy, and then he's mad at them and he's like, nice fucking model. I don't know, I don't know if Billy Zane took his inspiration from Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice, but I was really noticing it on this view. So anybody else get the Beetlejuice vibe here? Anyways. And I like that he makes demons with his blood. He cuts it open and then they come out of the ground, and at first they look like baby pumpkin heads, but then they morph into these huge, awesome demons. I mean, the practicals in this movie are not talked about enough. This is one of the coolest creature features ever. It's up there. I mean, when you talk about practical effects, this movie's never ever mentioned, but it should be. Rewatching this, there is some fantastic practical effects work here. There is almost zero computer-generated imagery. There's only CGI enhancements, a little bit, on the blood and the sheen and how it makes that barrier and whatnot. That's a little bit of CGI, because CGI was in its infancy at this point. But yeah, we need to talk more about the practicals in this movie. I think my favorite practical, there's a lot of awesome ones in this movie, but is with the kid at the end, when the kid turns into a demon and the head just becomes this huge mouth with this huge tongue, and it's licking inside Breaker's chest. The look of that kid, and then he's kicked out the window and blows up. All of that is fantastic. Holy shit, is it awesome. I love it all. It looks so gross and gory and nuts, and such good imagination and such a great attention to detail. And as I said, there's tons of it in this film, but that one really stuck out to me. And Billy Zane's death at the end, when she spits the blood in his face and he's like yelling and his face is falling apart and his mouth is opening up. It looks like Billy Zane's face is falling apart as he's screaming. So, wow, what incredible work there. That really needs more attention. Breaker fires 7 shots out of his revolver here. I notice he shoots 1, 2, 3, 4 through the 2 sets of eyes, and then he fires 3 shots at them as they're running out. So we got a little inaccuracy there, unless it's a 8-shot revolver, but he does run out. So I don't know. It's possible. They do exist, but I don't think that gun's one of them. The blood barriers, I've seen them used in films and stuff since this movie, but I don't know of any before this one. But I really like that. The taking out of the eyes to free their trapped souls or whatever, I thought was a really cool touch. It's also kind of like an Aliens thing where like their blood, I'm not saying that this is what's happening in this movie, I'm just pointing out like villains who have powers beyond their death. Like if you kill an alien, the alien's blood gets on you. It's acidic. It's like acid blood, and it will burn through you and kill you. So you have to be very cautious of what you do to an alien in the Alien franchise because of that. And it's like so unfair. Like you kill it, and you basically get killed killing the damn thing. And this is the same of these demons in this, where they get shot through the eyes, and like lightning emits from them and knocks these characters backwards and almost kills them. I mean, Wally is knocked unconscious from this. And we'll get to the electric eyes thing in a minute, because there seems to be a weird inaccuracy here for me, but we'll get to that here. I also think that Breaker's being a little too generous with the blood, since there's only so much of it. I feel like, and as powerful as it is, I would have like, I'd like to have a Q-tip handy, and I'd just be like poking it in there and just like touching it. Because when he puts some on Geraldine's hand at the end, she just takes like a little teeny bit on her finger and just touches it, and it seals up the window there. So for me, it's a movie and it all worked out anyways, but for me, it's just he's so liberal with it. He puts so much down, and I'm like, dude, not so much. It's so much. Why? I guess he doesn't have time to take a Q-tip, of course, but I don't know. There's got to be, like, maybe just like, yeah, turn it upside down, get a little on your finger. You don't even have to pour any out. Just kind of just tap like that, and then release and touch. Boom, release and touch. There you go. There's your own Q-tip. You got your own personal Q-tip right here. That's simple. Maybe you need like a certain amount, but it doesn't seem like it. A lot of the flashbacks are pretty cool, just kind of going back to biblical times and making this connect to Genesis and religion and whatnot. I thought that was cool. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. Don't talk about religion on your page. There's a good tip for anybody. Geraldine's character is pretty annoying to me, not just because I don't like Jada Pinkett, but there's some certain things she does, like constantly arguing with Breaker over him just wanting to check to make sure people or cats or whatever aren't possessed, like by demons. Like he's just, like, I know she doesn't know what he's going to do the first time, but he just pushes the key against the cat. Like she lets the cat go. And it's like, this cat could be possessed. You just saw all this shit. Like, you should trust whatever the hell this guy says at the moment. But she's like, come on, Breaker, like, stay away from my cat. And she doesn't. But she lets him go, and then he finally grabs it, and he puts the key on her. And she's like, see, he's fine. Like, leave it alone. And then later, with the little kid, he wants to test it again. And she's like, come on, Breaker. And it's like, this kid was down in the mines. Like, why are you against this? I'm literally just pressing a fucking metal cross against their head. There's nothing to worry about. It takes 1 second, and it will expose them if they have been turned. I don't understand her reasoning behind it. She just wants to blindly trust because it's a kid and a cat. She doesn't want to see it as bad. But this is your own... I don't know. That's just stupid as shit to me. It really annoyed me. It annoys me every time. And I feel like Breaker, like he sits down and he talks to them about the beginning and tells them from Christ up of what happened and what's going to happen to them if the key gets caught. All this stuff. He takes his time to do all of that. I feel like he could have taken an extra minute to tell them that Billy Zane's character, the collector, could, possess their minds, that he could enter the house in their minds, not just physically, but just in their minds, and try to manipulate them into turning. Like, I feel like that should have been some impertinent information that he should have passed along to all the people inside that motel. I just don't understand. He's been followed by this thing forever. Now, maybe he's just never had any dealings with that. Possible. But I just feel like as long as he's been running, since 1917, and this is the 90s, this is almost freaking, 80 years, I feel like he's had run-ins and dealings with this character and how he can manipulate people's minds. Maybe he doesn't know, but I just feel like he does. With everything he knows, I just feel like he should know that. But maybe he doesn't. If he does, I don't understand why he didn't tell him. CCH gets her arm ripped off here. It's pretty gnarly. And then I love that this chick gets Cordelia. Is it Cordelia? Yeah, she gets her head blown off and the eyes are on the ground and they have to shoot the eyes. Like, the eyes are the soul in this thing. Like, it can't be destroyed without killing it. Even if all that's left are the eyes, those are what have to be destroyed. And the Willie scene, Uncle Willie, if you were gonna turn me to the dark side here, Uncle Willie is definitely the one that would get me. Just giving me a room full of Playboy models that are naked and are wanting me and just, yeah. Sorry, man. We're men. We only have so much willpower. So, if you were going to try to turn me, that'd probably be the way to do it. When I saw that scene, I was like, ooh, I don't know, man. I don't know. That would be a hard one to ignore for me, personally. I thought that scene was funny, trying to be like, oh, I could ignore this. Or Cordelia being told she's beautiful and you're a whore and I understand you. And I want to fall in love like anybody, but I don't know. That's not one that would test me. Or how I'm sitting here saying that having sex with tons of women would be something that would get my attention, but falling in love isn't. Wow, that makes me sound horrible. I should probably delete that out of here. Oh, Jesus. Okay, whatever. I'm unabashedly a man. Sue me. Getting back to the eye thing, when Roach shoots that guy's eyes and it breaks the seal when he's standing on the other side of it, that part's stupid to me. Because if their eyes can break the seals, then why not just create demons and then Billy Zane could sacrifice them in front of the seals and break them? If it's just that easy, these are demons, these are minions. They're at your beck and call. They'll do whatever you want. So just here, stand in front of here. I'll smash your eyes out. Boom, it'll break the seal. Seems pretty simple. And once they knew that fact, let's just say that was the first time it was ever done. Okay, now you know it. So go upstairs. Why does he need to manipulate Roach? Why does Roach have to clean up the little thing at the bottom, the blood stain at the bottom? Just have one of your demons break it with their eyes. That's stupid to me. That doesn't make any sense. It goes against the story to me. But whatever. I also thought it was interesting that this is dealing with religion, but it's also dealing with the galaxy, because he says that the last key is on Earth and that God spread the keys out to all different planets throughout the galaxy. So this has been going on different planets. This isn't just contained to Earth. This isn't the heaven and the earth. This is the heaven and the galaxy. So I thought that was really interesting spin on it. And he said that we're going to fast forward 3 million millennia or something. So this clearly isn't sticking to the Bible or anything, because in the Bible the Earth's only like 5,000 years old or something like that, or in certain depictions it's like 26,000 or something stupid. But in this one, he more alludes to like, no, this is like, planet is millions, billions of years old, and that there's tons of them out there, and that the keys were spread out across all of them. I thought that was interesting. Such a different spin on the usual religious stuff. Usually it's always, of course, because this is the only planet and we're the only life. But not in this movie. And the grenade vest. I tried to read that letter that Willie has up in the thing. I like paused it and thinking with HD that I'd be able to read it, but no. I could make out some things, but not much. I'm not very good at reading cursive, to be completely honest, but I still just couldn't make it out. The grenade vest, I don't know, that whole scene to me, as much as I love this movie, I mean, this movie's fucking amazing, so I'm not knocking the movie, but the grenade vest thing, for one, is just super convenient. Like, you didn't know that was up there. But regardless, like, the fact that he just happens to have a grenade vest up there, it is what it is. But I just feel like, why did they have to die? And why did, like, okay, CCH wants to be the savior, the martyr, whatever. So she goes and blows herself up. Why Bob has to stay with her? That makes no sense. Why she even has to be down there at all is stupid to me. Like, I guess she just needs to make sure that they're close enough that she can do it. But she could have just, like, gotten close enough, went up the ladder, and when they all got to the bottom, ripped the things off, throw them down, and blow it up. Like, it would have had the same desired effect. As soon as, like, they saw them, like, when she was wearing it, so they saw them. So when she ripped it across, it would have been the exact same effect. They would have had the exact amount of time to run away and whatever as they would if she was up in the attic throwing it down. So that's stupid to me. And the fact that Bob even had to stay there with her anyways is stupid to me in addition. So that whole scene to me is just like, you have grenades. Take them off of there and throw them one by one, or just use the whole vest as one, or set up a trap where, like, they open a door and that thing blows up. And there's so many different ways that could have been utilized. She didn't have to kill herself, and Bob sure as fuck didn't need to stay with her. So that's just dumb to me. I know it sounds like I don't like these movies sometimes when I nitpick them like this, but I'm just having fun. And, oh, Danny, that's right, that's his name. And him falling for Geraldine, whatever, it's fine. I just find her to be annoying, so maybe that's why. If she was someone I liked, I'd be like, yeah, I totally understand why you're in love with her. I like the scene. This is another scene that reminds me of Beetlejuice, when he's, like, getting mad at her, and then there's, like, this, I don't know what the hell this, like, spirit demon fucking thing that comes out of his dick. This is a weird thing. But yeah, the whole, like, him falling in love with her thing, it is what it is. And then she spits the fucking blood in his face, and then he dies, and then she goes away, and she now has become the new demon knight. And I feel like she's going to run out of blood really quick, because she's using it, like, everywhere. She's using it in the bus. Like, she's just getting on a bus. Like, is she going to seal every entrance to every place? Like, Breaker was out there for 80 years, and he only had so much blood. So you better take it easy. And I would have drained Breaker's ass dry. I would have fucking found collection, like a container. I would have taken every drip of blood out of Breaker and brought it with me in a backpack. And every time I ran out of stuff, I'd be filling it back up. You got to think, people. Think! Maybe it only stays powerful if it stays in the container. Who knows? Anyways, guys, I got to get to work. This was fun to revisit. I will watch Bordella of Blood tonight. So